The unrivaled basketball court in Miami just turned into a battleground, and the footage is leaving fans absolutely stunned. We all knew that the new 3-on-3 league would be intense, but nobody expected Brittney Griner to reach a breaking point like this. In a high-stakes January 2026 matchup that was supposed to be a showcase of skill, the Fever Queen Aliyah Boston was absolutely cooking Griner in the paint, hitting mid-range jumpers, stretching the floor, and leaving the legendary veteran visibly frustrated. But then the unthinkable happened. After Aliyah posterized Griner with a vicious drop-step move, BG didn't just contest the play, she snapped. In what is being called the most controversial moment of the 2026 season so far, Griner committed a dangerous flagrant foul, leveling Boston with a shove that sent shockwaves through the arena. The referee's whistle blew immediately, but the damage was done. The Vinyl BC locker room is in a state of pure tension, and Phantom BC, Aliyah's squad, is demanding accountability. Is this just high-level competition, or are we seeing the old guard finally lose their cool as the new generation takes over the throne? The leaked audio from the court captures a heated exchange that the WNBA and unrivaled officials are reportedly trying to keep under wraps. Today, we're breaking down the systematic frustration of Brittney Griner, the specific stats that prove Aliyah Boston is now the most dominant force in the post, and the fallout that could lead to a historic suspension. The torch hasn't just been passed, it's been seized, and the legends are not going down without a fight. Let's dive into the destruction of the narrative. It's January 2026, and the basketball world has descended upon Miami for the inaugural season of Unrivaled. This isn't just an off-season league. It's a high-octane, six-figure salary battleground where the best 30 players in the world are fighting for more than just a trophy. They're fighting for a legacy. But while the league was built on the idea of sisterhood and player empowerment, the January 24th matchup between Phantom BC and Vinyl BC just proved that when the stakes are this high, the sisterhood takes a back seat to survival. The marquee matchup was supposed to be the Battle of the Titans, the legendary Brittney Griner versus the rising Fever Queen, Aliyah Boston. For years, BG has been the undisputed gold standard for post-play in the women's game. But in early 2026, the narrative is shifting. Aliyah Boston didn't just spend her offseason resting. She spent it wreaking havoc in the lab. And when the ball tipped off in Miami, it became clear within the first 5 minutes that Griner wasn't just facing a young star. She was facing the new evolution of the position. The destruction began early. Aliyah Boston, playing for Phantom BC, looked like a completely different player than the one we saw in 2024. She wasn't just camping in the paint. She was playing with a vicious level of versatility that left Griner looking stuck in the past. In the first quarter alone, Aliyah pulled Griner out to the perimeter and did the unthinkable. She knocked down back-to-back triples. The crowd in Miami went wild, and the cameras caught a glimpse of Griner's face, a mix of disbelief and growing irritation. Aliyah's stats for the night were already trending toward a masterpiece. 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks by the midpoint of the game. But it was the drop step heard round the world that truly set the arena on fire. With under 2 minutes left in the third quarter, Aliyah caught the ball on the low block, felt Griner's 6 feet 9 inches frame leaning on her, and executed a lightning-fast spin move that left BG grasping at air. Aliyah finished the play with a powerful and-one layup, flexing toward the Phantom BC bench. It was a welcome to the new era moment, and for Brittney Griner, it was the final straw. As Aliyah walked to the free throw line, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. On the very next possession, Vinyl BC tried to feed Griner in the post to get a bucket back. Aliyah, playing with the defensive IQ that made her a DPOY candidate, timed her jump perfectly and swatted Griner's shot into the third row. The whistle didn't blow for a foul, but the frustration boiled over. As both players turned to run back down the court, Griner leveled Aliyah with a two-handed shove to the chest. It wasn't a basketball play. It wasn't a play for the ball. It was a deliberate, dangerous act of frustration that sent Boston flying backward onto the hardwood. The referees didn't hesitate. They blew the whistle for a flagrant 1, and for a moment, it looked like the benches might clear. The vicious nature of the foul was a shock to the system for a league that prides itself on professional conduct. But to the fans watching in Miami, it felt like something deeper. It felt like the old guard, lashing out because they can no longer keep up with the pace of the change. While the broadcast went to a commercial break to review the play, courtside microphones picked up a heated exchange between the two stars. The leaked audio reveals Aliyah Boston standing her ground, looking Griner in the eye and saying, "You can't stop the change, BG, play the game." Griner's response was reportedly a barrage of veteran hazing talk, claiming that the new generation hasn't paid their dues yet. But Aliyah's response was the ultimate mic drop. "I'm paying them right now on the scoreboard." This interaction is currently the #1 trending clip on sports Twitter. It exposes the hidden truth of the 2026 season. The veterans aren't just losing games. They are losing their grip on the identity of the sport. Aliyah Boston isn't just cooking Griner in the stats. She's winning the psychological war. By the time the final buzzer sounded, a convincing 88-82 win for Aliyah's Phantom BC. The focus had shifted from the score to the consequences. The unrivaled league office, co-founded by Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart, is now in a difficult position. They built this league on player-led values, but they cannot allow dangerous, flagrant fouls to become the standard. Reports are surfacing that the league is reviewing the footage for a potential one-game suspension for Griner. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever locker room, led by Caitlin Clark, has already weighed in. Clark took to social media with a simple but powerful message. "Queen of the Paint. Keep cooking, AB." The bench mob is united, and the message to the rest of the league is clear. If you can't beat them, don't try to break them. The flagrant foul in Miami wasn't just a moment of anger. It was a symptom of a league in transition. Aliyah Boston has officially arrived as the most dominant post player in the world, and Brittney Griner's frustration is the ultimate proof of that shift. In Part 2, we're going to dive into the secret off-season lab. Exactly how Aliyah added the three-point shot to her game to destroy traditional centers. We'll look at the Vinyl BC crisis. Is Griner's frustration tearing her team apart from the inside? And finally, we'll look at the final verdict from the league officials. Is a suspension coming, or will the old guard get a pass? The destruction of the narrative continues. To understand why Brittney Griner reached a vicious breaking point in Miami, you have to look at the box score from January 24, 2026. This wasn't just a physical battle, it was a tactical nightmare for the traditional center. For decades, the 6 feet 9 inches Griner has dominated by camping in the paint, using her massive frame to erase shots and intimidate anyone who dared enter her no-fly zone. But Aliyah Boston, playing for Phantom BC, spent the 2026 offseason turning that no-fly zone into a target range. In an era defined by spacing and skill, Aliyah has officially evolved into a positionless force. The hidden truth is that Aliyah didn't just stumble into this performance. She's been shooting 38% from the three-point line in the unrivaled season so far. During the second quarter, Boston did something that left Griner visibly shaking her head. Aliyah caught the ball at the top of the key, saw Griner sag off to protect the rim, and without hesitation, buried a 25-foot triple. On the very next play, she did it again. By forcing Griner to leave the paint, Aliyah effectively neutralized the legend's greatest weapon. "You can't be a statue in 2026, one commentator noted. Aliyah Boston isn't just playing 3-on-3. She's playing 2030 basketball, and Griner is still stuck in 2013. The specific play that led to the dangerous flagrant foul was a masterclass in modern post work. With 3 minutes left in the game, Aliyah caught the ball on the low block. Griner, clearly frustrated by being cooked on the perimeter, decided to get physical. She was leaning, shoving, and using her veteran hazing tactics to try and throw the young Fever star off her rhythm. But Aliyah didn't flinch. She used a vicious drop step, a move that combined the footwork of Hakeem Olajuwon with the power of Shaq, and exploded toward the rim. She finished the play with a rim-rocking layup while Griner was left stumbling out of bounds. The and-one celebration from Aliyah was the spark. She didn't say a word, she just flexed. To a veteran like Griner, who has been the queen of the paint for over a decade, that flex felt like a declaration of war. That was the moment the old guard psyche snapped. The shove that followed wasn't about the score. It was about a legend realizing that her time at the top had officially expired. While the referees were reviewing the flagrant foul on the monitor, courtside mics captured a chilling exchange between the two titans. As Griner stood near the Vinyl BC bench, she was heard yelling toward Aliyah, "You ain't done nothing yet." Aliyah Boston, calm and collected as always, walked toward the free throw line and responded with a line that has since gone viral. "I don't need your permission to be great, BG. Check the scoreboard." The leaked audio has sent the WNBA community into a frenzy. It exposes the deep-seated generational jealousy, that many fans believe has been simmering since Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston arrived in the league. The veterans are desperate to keep the status quo, but as Aliyah proved in Miami, the new generation isn't interested in waiting their turn. They are taking the torch by force if necessary. The fallout from the flagrant foul has extended deep into the Vinyl BC locker room. Reports are surfacing that Griner's teammates, including stars like Ryan Howard, were visibly uncomfortable with the dangerous nature of the shove. Unrivaled is a league built on player-led empowerment, but Griner's actions have put the league office in a vicious bind. If they don't suspend a legend for a blatant, non-basketball foul, they risk losing the safe space reputation they've built for their $100,000 per player rosters. BG is a leader, but that wasn't leadership, an anonymous source from Vinyl BC shared. That was frustration. She's getting outworked, outshot, and outplayed by a 24-year-old, and she doesn't know how to handle it. The locker room is tense because we're supposed to be about the sisterhood, but that shove felt like an attack on the future of the game. Back in Indiana, the news of the Griner shove reached Caitlin Clark almost instantly. Caitlin, who has dealt with her own share of veteran vitriol and referee corruption, didn't hold back on social media. She posted a photo of her and Aliyah from the 2025 playoffs with the caption, "They can't stop the skill, so they try to stop the person. Keep thriving, Queen." The bench mob is more than just a nickname. It's a defensive front. The Indiana Fever Core, Clark, Boston, and Hull are sending a clear message to the rest of the league. If you come for one of us, you come for all of us. This solidarity is making the Fever the most dangerous team in the WNBA heading into the May 2026 opener. They aren't just talented, they are bulletproof. The unrivaled league officials, led by Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart, are currently in a high-stakes meeting to decide Griner's fate. Sources suggest the league is leaning toward a one-game suspension and a heavy fine. However, the old guard is reportedly lobbying for a veteran pass, arguing that the foul was just competitive fire. But as fans point out, there is a difference between fire and dangerous negligence. If Aliyah Boston had been injured on that play, the financial and PR fallout for Unrivaled would have been catastrophic. The league has to choose, one analyst stated. Do they protect the legends, or do they protect the players who are actually driving the record-breaking revenue? In 2026, the answer is obvious. You protect the box office stars like Aliyah Boston. The destruction of Brittney Griner in Miami wasn't just a win for Phantom BC. It was a wake-up call for the entire sport. Aliyah Boston has evolved into a vicious, offensive weapon that the old guard simply cannot contain. In Part 3, we're going to look at the leaked practice footage. See the secret drills Aliyah used to master her three-point shot. We'll dive into the expansion fallout, how the new teams in Toronto and Portland are reacting to the Griner/Boston rivalry. And finally, we'll see the final confrontation. What happened when Aliyah and BG had to share a bus after the game? The truth is coming out, and it's going to change the 2026 season forever. As the ref war and the swoops saga continue to dominate the headlines in early 2026, the real story is buried in the private workout footage from Aliyah Boston's offseason. While the world was shocked to see Aliyah cook Brittney Griner in Miami, those close to the Phantom BC camp knew it was coming. Leaked clips from Aliyah's secret lab sessions reveal that she didn't just work on her footwork. She re-engineered her entire offensive profile. The footage shows Aliyah practicing high-volume, deep-range triples with a shooting coach specifically brought in from the NBA's Miami Heat. By the time she stepped onto the unrivaled court, her three-point percentage wasn't just a fluke, it was a weapon. She realized that centers like BG are essentially safe, as long as the game stays in the paint, a league source revealed. Aliyah's goal for 2026 was to make the paint the most dangerous place for a traditional center to be. When you can stretch the floor and then beat a legend like Griner with a lightning-fast drop step, you aren't just playing basketball. You're performing a demolition of the old guard's job security. The dangerous flagrant foul on January 24th wasn't just an isolated incident. It was the result of a month of systematic frustration within the Vinyl BC locker room. Reports suggest that Brittney Griner has been struggling with the pace of the unrivaled 3-on-3 format, which prizes speed and perimeter versatility over raw size. Following the loss to Phantom BC, internal sources claim the Vinyl locker room was ice cold. While Griner's teammates, like Ryan Howard, initially tried to defend the competitive fire of their captain, the reality of the flagrant shove has created a rift. Griner reportedly feels targeted by the new generation's pace, while the younger players are growing weary of the veteran vitriol that follows every loss. BG is a legend, but you can't shove the future of the game because she's outplaying you, one anonymous teammate reportedly shared. We're in Miami to grow the game and put money in our pockets. When you commit a flagrant foul that could result in a suspension, you're putting everyone's paycheck at risk. With the 2026 CBA negotiations currently at a stalemate, the discipline handed down for the Griner-Boston incident carries massive weight. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has reportedly been in contact with unrivaled co-founders Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart, urging them to prioritize player safety and brand integrity. The final verdict? A one-game suspension for Brittney Griner and a record-breaking $25,000 fine. The league office released a statement emphasizing that while physicality is part of the unrivaled DNA, non-basketball acts that endanger players will not be tolerated. This ruling is a vicious blow to the old guard. It sends a clear message that reputation no longer grants immunity. In the Caitlin Clark era, the box office stars are the priority, and the league is no longer afraid to bench a legend to protect a superstar in the making like Aliyah Boston. The impact of the Griner shove has reached all the way to the 2026 expansion cities. The Toronto Tempo and the Portland Fire, who are currently building their inaugural rosters, are using this incident as a scouting blueprint. Reports from Toronto suggest that their front office is pivoting away from traditional centers in favor of Boston-style versatile bigs. We saw what Aliyah did to BG, a Toronto executive noted. If the greatest center of the last decade can be neutralized by a three-point shooting big, then the statue center is officially extinct. We want players who can cook on the perimeter and defend the rim. We want the new era. This shift in expansion strategy is the hidden truth that is keeping veterans awake at night. The Clark effect hasn't just brought in fans. It has fundamentally changed what a professional roster looks like. If you can't shoot the three and switch on defense in 2026, you are becoming a liability. Perhaps the most vicious detail of the entire saga occurred after the game. Due to the high security protocols in Miami, the teams often share transport back to their housing. Sources claim the bus ride was dead silent until Aliyah Boston boarded. Witnesses say Griner attempted to offer a half-hearted apology, but Aliyah, backed by her Phantom BC teammates Natasha Cloud and Sada Sabali, kept it strictly professional. "I'm not looking for an apology, BG," Aliyah reportedly said. "I'm looking for a better game next time. Don't get mad at the change, keep up with it." The exchange has been labeled as the official end of the hazing era. The days of veterans welcoming rookies to the league with physical intimidation are over. The new generation is too talented, too rich, and too united to be bullied. As we look toward the May 2026 WNBA season opener, the Aliyah Boston we saw in Miami is a terrifying prospect for the rest of the league. If she can destroy Brittney Griner in a 3-on-3 setting, imagine what she will do when paired with a healthy Caitlin Clark and a rejuvenated Lexi Hull in a 5-on-5 system. The Indiana Fever are no longer a feel-good story. They are a championship juggernaut. Aliyah's evolution has effectively closed the weakness in the Fever's offense. They have the best shooter, the best facilitator, and now, the most versatile post player in the world. The final verdict is simple. Brittney Griner's flagrant foul was a white flag. It was the moment a legend realized the game had passed her by. The 2026 season belongs to the Fever Queen and the bench mob. The old guard can either evolve or continue to be cooked in the spotlight. And that is the final, explosive breakdown of the night Brittney Griner reached her breaking point in Miami. The torch hasn't just been passed, it's been lit on fire by Aliyah Boston. But I want to know what you think. Was the one-game suspension enough, or did BG get a Legends discount? Is Aliyah Boston officially the #1 center in the world right now, or does Aya Wilson still hold the crown? Head down to the comments and let the debate begin. If you're standing with Aliyah and you're ready to see the Fever take over the 2026 season, drop a hashtag Phantom Power below. If you think the veterans deserve more respect, make your case. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We are the only channel bringing you the 2026 unrivaled updates you won't see on the main broadcast. Thanks for watching, and stay locked in for the next demolition. The dust has settled in Miami, but the impact of that flagrant foul is going to define the entire 2026 season. We just witnessed more than a hard foul. We witnessed the moment the old guard realized they could no longer keep up with the Fever Queen. Aliyah Boston didn't just survive that shove. She rose up, buried the free throws, and officially took her place at the top of the mountain. But now the biggest question isn't about the suspension. It's about you. Whose side are you on in this generational war? Is Brittney Griner's frustration a legitimate reaction to the overhyping of the new generation? Or was that flagrant foul a vicious admission that she's been officially outclassed? This is the debate that is currently splitting the WNBA community in two, and I want to hear your voice in the center of it. Head down to the comments right now and let the world know where you stand. If you're riding with Aliyah Boston and you're ready to see the Phantom BC era take over, drop a hashtag Phantom Power in the chat. But if you believe the legends like BG deserve more respect for the foundation they built, make your case and let's talk about it. Is Aliyah Boston the new #1 center in the world? Or does the old guard still have one last fight left in them? I'm reading every single comment, and I want to see who can make the most logical case for the future of the league. Before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. From the unrivaled playoffs in Miami to the 2026 expansion draft in Toronto, we are the only channel bringing you the unfiltered, behind-the-scenes truth. Don't get left behind while the game evolves without you. Join the community, stay locked in, and let's watch the empire rise. Thanks for watching.